I did it, y'all. I gave in and I became an AI TikToker. Here's what happened. For context, here's what I'm talking about.
Yes, gang, 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 gang. Thank you, Louise.
Now, the reason I gave in is because I saw another TikToker talking about how she was gonna try it.
Okay, so y'all know those like ridiculous AI, like NPC type lives, like this.
Take your Anna, take your Maya. Hey, take your Anna.
So this girl Nerdy Winter said those girls make thousands of dollars constantly, right? So I was like, that's dumb. And she was like, if y'all see me doing it, don't say nothing.
Crystal made that video and immediately went on live, and this is what happened.
Thank you for the roast. Smells so good.
Viewers. So I gave it a try too, and guess what?
It's Cone. Glizzy's. Thanks for the first gift. Oh my god, it's a panda. How cute. Meow. Perfume. Is someone saying I stink? Love you. Oh my god.
It worked, so now if y'all see me on live doing this ridiculous shit, look the other way, okay? Just know mama's in her bag. I did it, y'all. I gave in and I became an AI TikToker. Here's what happened. For context, here's what I'm talking about.
Yes, gang, 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 gang. Thank you, Louise.
Now, the reason I gave in is because I saw another TikToker talking about how she was gonna try it.
Okay, so y'all know those like ridiculous AI, like NPC type lives, like this.
Take your Anna, take your Maya. Hey, take your Anna.
So this girl Nerdy Winter said those girls make thousands of dollars constantly, right? So I was like, that's dumb. And she was like, if y'all see me doing it, don't say nothing.
Crystal made that video and immediately went on live, and this is what happened.
Thank you for the roast. Smells so good.
Viewers. So I gave it a try too, and guess what?
It's Cone. Glizzy's. Thanks for the first gift. Oh my god, it's a panda. How cute. Meow. Perfume. Is someone saying I stink? Love you. Oh my god.
It worked, so now if y'all see me on live doing this ridiculous shit, look the other way, okay? Just know mama's in her bag. I did it.
Have you ever had just a really stupid thought? I mean, obviously, you have. But when you have these many, many stupid thoughts and you're like, I'm gonna go post this idiocy on the internet for the whole world to see. Have you ever stopped like halfway through typing that comment and thought to yourself, you know, maybe broadcasting to the entire world that I have the critical thinking skills of an overcooked potato is not the right move for me right now. And then, you know, not post something this stupid? Because if you haven't, you should definitely try it. I think that would be a good move for you, you know, good life decision. So I am actually very proud of Minnesota. Here's the thing, I don't think that children are having gender affirmation surgery. But then again, I am not a trans child, and I'm not the parent of a trans child. I'm not a healthcare professional that's treating any trans children, and I'm not a mental health care professional responsible for treating trans children. So I can't say it doesn't happen for sure because I'm none of those things, and that means it's not my fucking business. Since this comment shows all the intellectual hallmarks of somebody who almost passed their GED that one time, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you too are also none of those things, and therefore it is also none of your fucking business. Good, now that we've cleared that up, let's talk about how you make shit up that's not a real thing and then get really irrationally mad about the shit you made up that's not a real thing. Late-term abortions, for example. They, like, literally don't happen. It's not a thing except in very rare circumstances for very specific reasons. Reasons that if you disagreed with them would make you a bad person. But we'll get into that in a second. Now, anyone with slightly more critical thinking skills than an overripe avocado that just came out of the microwave could intuitively tell you why third-term abortions aren't a thing after, like, say, 3 seconds of fucking thinking about it. But it still seems like there's some people who need to be walked through this logic train. So choo-choo, motherfuckers. Hop aboard. Let's imagine a woman gets pregnant and she doesn't want to be pregnant, and deciding to not be pregnant is her right because it's her body, you know? And there's no other legal precedent to support your ridiculous notion that refusing to use your body to keep something else alive is murder or even a crime. But once that thing comes out and it's a real living baby, you are not required to give it a kidney or give it blood. You're not even fucking required to breastfeed it, even if your refusal to use your body to keep it alive would mean its certain death. So that whole argument that abortion is murder or in any way legally wrong is just not supported by any legal precedent and is incredibly fucking stupid. Anyway, getting off track. So a woman's pregnant, doesn't want to be pregnant. So she's like, hey, there's a pill I can take or a minimally invasive medical procedure I can do right now to terminate this pregnancy. I'm not showing right now. Nobody knows I'm pregnant. Nobody will ever know about this deeply private and personal decision unless I choose to share it with them. She's like, I could do that. But you know what I think would be a better option? Waiting 7 fucking months. Yeah, it makes way more sense to go through all the shitty parts of pregnancy first. Cramps and the cravings, not being able to sit down or stand up or see your feet, spending a bunch of money on a pregnancy wardrobe because none of your clothes are going to fit anymore, and have every single person you meet for months know that you're pregnant, then one day just show up not pregnant and have no baby. Then at the very last minute, just go ejectocito cuz and have a super invasive, awful, traumatic surgical procedure. Yeah, doing it that way makes way more fucking sense. I genuinely cannot even begin to theorize the lack of neural connections required to hear that and think, yeah, that's a thing that happens. So let me walk you through what's going on when a person does have to terminate late in their pregnancy, and why people who say stuff like this or worse support this kind of legislation makes them just, not good people. Anyone who's made it to the 3rd trimester of a pregnancy, they have names for that child picked out. They've probably already had a gender reveal party. They've had a baby shower. They have a room picked out as a nursery. They have an IKEA crib they've spent 3 fucking hours trying to figure out how to put together. That woman has put people's hands on her belly so they could feel the kicks. That woman, at that point, is invested in having a baby. Emotionally, physically, and financially invested. And then she goes to her doctor one day and her doctor says, I hate to tell you this, but this is a non-viable pregnancy. Or following through with this pregnancy will probably end your life. And that woman doesn't say anything. She doesn't even make a decision about what to do right there. She goes home. She starts sobbing. She starts grieving. She starts leaning on every single person she has to lean on. And starts to try to process what is likely the most difficult decision of her life. And then when she finally does her best to come to grips with that situation, and she goes in to go through an incredibly invasive and traumatic procedure, she's got to walk by a bunch of despicable human beings judging her, calling her a murderer, yelling at her that she is going to go to hell because this experience hasn't been traumatic enough for her. These are truly disgusting fucking people. And before anybody comes up in the comment and be like, oh, well, I think there should be exceptions for this, that, and the other thing, go fuck yourself. First of all, the idiots you people vote for have already proven that they're not willing to write those exceptions into legislation, and now there are women who could possibly face the death penalty for not following through with non-viable pregnancies. And even if that wasn't the case, which it very much is, the government has no fucking place in your personal healthcare decisions. The only thing the government should be doing in healthcare is the one thing they don't, and that's writing a fucking check. Everything else should be between a patient and a doctor. Full fucking stop. So for every single person who says shit like this or believes shit like this, do the world a favor and get better opinions or get fucking bent.
So recently I made a video about how a Texas sheriff had recommended charges against Ron DeSantis and Florida officials stemming from the incident where Texas migrants were shipped to Martha's Vineyards. And despite those pending charges, Ron DeSantis and Florida officials were like, bet, let's do it again. And they shipped 16 migrants from Texas and flew them this time to Sacramento. And that led to California Governor Gavin Newsom saying, y'all committed crimes, specifically kidnapping. We're going to have to look at charging you with that. And Florida officials were like, no, wait.
Governor Gavin Newsom floated possible kidnapping charges against their governor, Ron DeSantis. While Florida's Division of Emergency Management claims the migrants got on the planes voluntarily. They think this video here that they released proves it. All right, so in those 2 clips there, the first one you see a group of people dancing, and this other clip you see someone getting off of the plane saying they made it to California, thank God. There's also a clip where someone appears to be asking a group of people if at any point they were treated poorly, in which they respond, no, we were treated very well. The state of Florida issued a statement that the migrants gave verbal and written consent to be flown to California, and you can see video there of people holding some kind of paperwork.
They went willingly. They were happy to go. That's the story, right? You sure about that? Are you sure about that? Because when the Attorney General, as well as reporters, spoke to the migrants who were shipped there, they had a slightly different take on things. They say they were duped by Florida officials and that while they are grateful to be in America, their plans have been disrupted, with immigration hearings now spread across the country and job opportunities stalled. Members of the group said they came to California because they were promised that they would be given a home, higher paying jobs, and attorneys to help them more quickly obtain permits to work legally. They did this specifically because they wanted to do things legally, because they wanted to work legally, because they wanted a better life. And they were promised those things by the people who put them on the planes. So yeah, they were happy and did go voluntarily until they found out they were lied to and felt abandoned. And that's what happens when you're trying to push your own political agenda and decide to treat human beings as props in your own little political theater. Now maybe you're saying, that makes me mad. They should pay for doing this. I agree. If you go to that thing in my bio, you can tap on that first one there. If you touch that, that opens this. In like 30, 40 seconds, you can make that number get bigger. And then this gets presented to prosecutors in Texas and now in California, and maybe, just maybe, the governor of the state of Florida, who tried to sell Floridians on the fact that he used Florida tax dollars to take human beings from Texas and ship them to other states, that he did that in Florida's best interests. Perhaps he will face some consequences for his actions.
If you give a shit about Native communities, please stop scrolling. ICWA is in danger, not only putting our children at risk, but also our tribal sovereignty and countless cultures as well. Because when they closed the boarding schools, they did not stop trying to take our children. That's why ICWA was needed. 25 to 30% of Indigenous children were removed from their homes. Out of that percentage, 85% were placed with families outside of their culture when they had family members that were willing and able to take care of them. This had nothing to do with the best interest of children. It was the best interest of assimilation. People already claim that we don't exist, that our history, our pain, the pain our grandmothers went through, did not exist. And removing our children from our culture is trying to continue that rhetoric, trying to make it so we don't exist. And that doesn't even get into the aspect of the fetishization of why so many white parents want an Indigenous child specifically. And when they do have an Indigenous child, do you know how much of that culture the child ends up knowing about? Then why have an Indigenous child? So please speak out, spread the word, and just help us save our culture. Good
morning, y'all. I have tried to make this video 4 times. This will make the 5th time that I'm doing it. I've got a couple of ads that I'm going to run on TikTok. You will see me make a video or 2 here and there, but I'm going to take a break. You're not going to see me on here for a while. And the reason I'm doing that is this. Since I got my account back, I have been going hard in the paint. I've tried to make videos on a day-to-day basis, but I'm starting to become extremely burned out. To begin with, I did not start my platform with the intent of it being as big as it is. I didn't. I just wanted to get shit off my chest. But in the time that I've been here, I have actually managed to start some conversations that are fucking way overdue. I have made some very good friends. I have created a group of people who, even if they don't think exactly like I do, they fight for the same reasons that I do. I introduced my brother, the best man I have ever known, to this application, and he is thriving. If you are not following the Saint, you need to. That's my brother, my actual blood brother. I have gotten a lot of people who love what I do and who appreciate it, and I have been supremely humbled by that. I have haters, well, not haters, people who disagree with me, who absolutely dislike seeing me. Price you pay for being a person putting videos out on a day-to-day basis. But I've noticed there's a lot of bullshit that has been going on. And my name has been caught up in it. And I need to step back a little bit. I can't keep going as hard as I am right now. I'm not. I was on a live yesterday where I listened to black women telling their stories about how somebody who I genuinely care about hurt them. And it broke me. It broke me. There's no easy way to say it. It broke me. And I started to cry. Those were genuine tears of sorrow for them. Somebody should have listened to them. And I'm having to reconcile that with somebody I care about. All of this is coming at the same time. I got called a child trafficker by some woman who, it turns out, enjoys putting her breast all over fucking TikTok, but I'm the child trafficker. I've had my wife, the love of my life, had her picture plastered on the back of somebody's fucking live, questioning how I can be pro-black and have a white wife. And there's a rage inside of me, rage, that I know will consume me if I don't step back. So that's what I'm going to do. Those of you who know how to get a hold of me, you can always get a hold of me. You know that. If there is an idea for a show or a podcast or you want to connect or whatever, there are ways to get a hold of me other than this. I will be back. I just don't know when. I genuinely don't. I want to write a book. I want to focus on my podcasts, my radio show, other things. I want to start trying to generate some income from what I do. And I want to get away from feeling like I have failed some people. When I do come back, I need this to be understood. And I need it to be understood in a way that there is no more ambiguity about it. My platform, me, will always be a safe space for women, particularly black women. It will always be a place where I'm never going to belittle your intelligence, nor am I going to lessen your experience for me. My ego isn't involved in that. It isn't. It's just not. My platform will always be a safe space for members of the LGBTQIA+. Y'all are my family. And I mean every single syllable of that word. Family. I am going to continue to fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. That will never change. I am still going to be a member of the Villains Guild, a collection of people who I believe in more than they will ever know. I am proud of you. I could not be prouder of you if I tried. No one speaks for me. If you did not hear it directly from me, then it wasn't said. There are a bunch of copycat fucking Thomas DeVillen pages. They're not me. I am me. I have never needed anyone to speak for me, and that's not going to change. I am easily accessible. I have a business email. I've got an Instagram. I've got a Facebook. I've got a YouTube. I have a podcast. If you want to leave a message or a comment, go right ahead. When I come back, I will be better than I was. Right now, I am broken. And I need to take a break for this. I love you. I genuinely care about you. You are love, you are light, you are strength. If no one tells you they love you, I love you. If no one tells you they care about you, I care about you. If no one tells you you are worth it, I am saying that you are worth it. Until we meet again. Until we meet again.
But I gotta let you know, those other white people are making y'all look really bad.
Okay, I have never stitched a TikTok. I had to Google how to do it. Please forgive me. I am not in my Sunday best, and I do not look my best, and I am not in the prettiest part of my house. However, I saw this TikTok, and I thought it was very important for me to say something on it. I'm not a lima bean, but I was raised by lima beans. I heard some of the most horrible things about people growing up. And even growing up and trying not to be a lima bean, I would accidentally say things that a lima bean might say out of straight up ignorance. And I had to learn the hard way by being called out, by being held accountable. And it hurt. But I learned, and I studied, and I introduced myself to people of different backgrounds and cultures, and I became a different person. I think that one of the hardest things to do is to look your dad in the face and say, that's ugly. That's hateful. Why would you say that in front of me? I'm going home. You get that cold knot in your stomach and your heart just drops and you think, oh, I'm not going to be able to say it. I'm going to throw up. And then you say it. Sure, there's a fallout, but you're already halfway out the door by then. You're an adult. You got your own car keys. And it never really gets easier. And some people never call you back over. You're not going to be able to change the way they think. You can only change the way you respond to the way they think. And if they don't call me back over, I don't really like lima beans either. So why would I go? You don't have to let people think that you're a part of them. You don't have to let people talk to you as though, oh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, we're part of the same lima bean club. You're not. And that's hateful. And that's ugly. You're not going to talk that way in front of me. Don't be a lima bean. Don't hang out with lima beans. You're better than that. And it takes some strength. And it's hard. But you can do it. I believe in you.
So Trump gave a speech at Charlie Kirk's conference tonight, and the right wants to make fun of Joe Biden about his age. Donald Trump is losing his mind, and it ain't pretty.
So I stopped that, did so many other things, and then the disinformation Democrats, these people are disinformation, it's all they're good at. They say, Trump is soft on Russia. I was soft on Russia. We wiped out all those tanks with the guns. I gave them, and all the sanctions I put on, and yet I got along with Putin. But the apple of his eye was Ukraine. I said, Vladimir, don't do it. It'll be so bad for you if you do it. We will hit you harder than anybody has ever hit you. You got lucky with Germany, they froze. You got lucky with Napoleon, they froze. We're not going to freeze. You know, missiles aren't freezing as they're pouring. And he didn't believe me, but he believed me 5%. That's all we needed, right? And I had to...
He just literally made all of that up. And Napoleon, like French Revolution Napoleon.
We created the most secure border in U.S. history, built nearly 500 miles of border wall. I hear this sloppy Chris Christie guy. He said, Trump only built 47 miles of wall. Not before. Then they checked with the Border Patrol and the people that do that. Almost 500 miles of wall. And remember this. I said Mexico is going to pay for it some way. They gave us 28,000 soldiers free of charge. That's more than any wall. That's more. And they
Again, this guy is just making stuff up out of thin air. We built 500 miles of wall. That's a lie. Mexico gave us 28,000 soldiers. What?
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it to be a great badge of honor and courage. I'm doing it for you. I'm being indicted for you. Better me than you, right? You're sitting there saying, hey, I'd rather have it. We love our president. Let them indict him. We don't want to be indicted. And I believe the you is more than 200 million people that love our country. Far more than 200 million.
200 million people. Trump stole classified documents, refused to give them back, defied a subpoena, and paid a porn star hush money. And he did it for you. For you. He broke the law for you.
Have you ever wondered what mealworms can and can't eat? First, let's consider fruits, a category that seems to be a favorite for these little creatures. A slice of watermelon, for instance, was enthusiastically consumed, rind and all. However, when they were given a whole watermelon, it seemed to be a bit too tough for them. They did manage to create holes in the rind and get to the fruit's flesh, but they did so slowly, and the fruit started to rot before they could finish, which led me to stop filming. The nectarine, boasting its smooth skin and sweet interior, was an easy opponent, with only the pit remaining. When they were presented with an apple, it sank into the worm tray ever so swiftly over the course of 110 hours. Cherries were another item on their fruit menu. The juicy flesh was eaten while the hard pit was skillfully avoided. I wonder how long those would take for them, if they could eat them at all. Next up, the radish. And it disappears in no time, just like the lettuce heart, tangerine, and cheeseburger. All that's left behind is their frass, which makes for excellent fertilizer. They enjoyed corn on the cob very much, but the cob itself proved to be too hard for their liking. I'm confident that given enough time, it would have also disappeared in the worm tray. Something unexpected now. Mealworms can consume various types of cacti, and even plants that are still planted in soil, such as pea, catgrass, radish sprouts, or even chili plants, hot chilies included. Despite what you might think, they weren't deterred by the heat, and that's got proven when they finished a bunch of the Carolina Reapers, the world's hottest pepper. It's a fascinating reminder that their taste receptors differ from ours. But what if we gave them something more hearty from the realm of proteins? Raw chicken wings, which many of us might enjoy at a barbecue, were meticulously stripped down to the bone by these small insects. Watching them work is akin to observing a group of tiny efficient scavengers, each taking a bite and systematically reducing the wings to skeletal remains. But chicken feet, both raw and boiled, presented a challenge. While they did manage to gnaw at them, reaching the bones at some parts, the hard skin and sturdy tendons seemed to be a bit too tough for them to fully consume. Nevertheless, their determination was apparent. When it came to a fish head, mealworms had no problem at all. All that was left was fish bones as they navigated the complex structure, nibbling at the flesh until it was clean, just like they did when I gave
other toast done, and Tammy said, okay, nobody's speaking Vietnamese to her. So I turned to her and I asked, why would Tammy say that? What's the problem with Vietnamese? And she goes on to tell me that At the other shop she goes to, they speak in Vietnamese to each other, and it's rude and disrespectful and unprofessional, and they shouldn't be ignoring her, and they should be speaking in English because we're in America, and they're trying to run a business, and she pays them so much money. I mean, she went on and on. And so I stopped her and I said, so it's a problem for you if they speak in their native tongue? And she said, yes. And I said, that shouldn't be the case. And she said, well, it just really bothers me because I can't understand them. I said, well, maybe what they're saying isn't for you to understand. I said, they're running a business. They could be talking about business. And then I stopped myself and I said, no, it doesn't matter what they're talking about. They have as much of a right to speak their native tongue as we do. And so we're going back and forth. She said, then I told her she should do her nails at home. And she said, that's really difficult for me. And I said, it sounds like a lot of things are really difficult for you. I was very proud of that one. I also told her at one point that she needs to find a white Western American to do her nails. And she said, well, they don't do as good of a job. And I said, it's not fair to them for you to come in here and think that you can spend money and then treat them any kind of way. And I said, they have a business to run. They're not going to tell you off. I said, but I have no skin in the game. I said, so I'm going to tell you what you need to be told. And it's that you are being so rude and so disrespectful. And it's preposterous that you would walk into an establishment and expect that they cater to you in that way. And she said, well, I'm a paying customer. I said, okay, so am I. I said, I've been coming here for 10 years. And I said, Joseph, Tammy, I've never once felt ignored by you. I want you to know that the rest of us, I said, and I will be speaking for everyone else, would like you to speak in whatever language is comfortable for you. And I turned to her and I said, as long as you're getting the service that you're paying for, it shouldn't matter. And then as I got up to leave, I said, you know what? It must be so nice to navigate this world through only one lens. It must be so blissful to never have to consider another person's perspective. It would literally never occur to me to ask someone to not speak their native tongue around me because I can't understand them. That is absolutely asinine. And then I went to go pay, and then Joseph was like holding my hand and he was thanking me. And the thing is, like, and I told him, I'm like, I know that you're trying to run a business, but you shouldn't have to sit here and tolerate being spoken to that way. And then two other women thanked me for saying something, and they were like, it was really bothering me too, but I wasn't brave enough to say anything. I said, honestly, I'm usually not either, but I don't know what it was about today. I don't know what it was. Something came over me, and I felt like I needed to address it. So, anyway, I'm proud of myself. The end.
That these transphobic TikTokers are misrepresenting what I said and just straight up lying, because that's the only way you can disagree with what I'm about to tell you.
Straight up lying? That's interesting. This is episode 12 of Exposing Lies on TikTok.
I made a video where I proved without a shadow of a doubt that trans people are valid, and I challenged any transphobic TikToker.
So today I learned that being gay never actually met the criteria for being a mental illness, but homophobia does. According to the Government of Canada, mental illnesses are associated with alterations in thinking, mood, or behaviors that lead to significant stress or impaired functioning. If I'm talking a little too quiet, it's because we don't want to wake the baby. And I don't think gayness has ever impaired anyone's functioning, but homophobia has. Homophobia actually meets all of those criteria pretty well. It is an alteration.
I think I've been a mess lately, and I'm pretty sure you have all noticed. I'm trying to hang in there. I'm trying to laugh. I'm trying to connect with people. I'm trying to stay afloat. But I gotta be honest, and I don't think that I've ever really wanted to talk about this subject because it's so scary for a trans person to talk about their mental health. But I've been in a really bad way for the last couple of years. One of the reasons why I think I've been in a bad place is because I never really necessarily wanted this. You know, I thought I wanted to be successful. I thought I wanted to, have a large platform, but I'm finding out I'm not really good at it, and it stresses me out beyond belief. But I feel like it's such a responsibility for me as an open public trans woman to keep going. To suck it up and try my best every day. But boy, it's hard. You know, how do you post about this stuff every day? How do you talk about DIY things? How do you make funny videos while there's trans people suffering every day? You know, I might be crying and upset right now, but there's people out there who have it way worse than me every single day. And I'm mad because I'm sad for some reason, I don't know. But the depression has been just a chokehold in me for the last 7 months. And I've been trying to hang in there. I've tried different dosages of my medication. I've tried doing different things. I tried getting back into cycling because I love my bike so much. Nothing's really been working. I tried doing less here. Doing less actually made me more sad. Oh, it's like I can't win. Spending more time with my partners makes me sad. Spending less time with my partners makes me sad. I feel disconnected, like I can't talk to anyone about anything because, you know, you go to VidCon and you meet all these famous people, you do all these things. How can you relate to people sometimes? So few people understand. Listen to me. This is exactly what I was afraid of, me just rambling. What I'm trying to say is I haven't been in a good way. Mental health is so important, and it's so hard to quantify, and it's even harder to take care of. When you allow your mental health to get this bad without doing anything about it, it can really be a compounding effect. What I'm trying to say is please take care of yourselves. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to figure this out. I can fix just about anything, and I know I can take care of this too. I know the things that make me happy, but not talking about it, it stresses me out. Not talking about it makes me feel like it's a dirty little secret. And all because I'm trans, I feel like I can't talk about my mental health without somebody going, see, all trans people are mentally ill. Even though me being the state I am right now has more to do with social media and how the world views trans people than trans people being innately mentally ill. That's ridiculous. But people are going to think what they want to think, and they're going to do what they want to do, and very few people in this world sometimes care about other people that they don't know and understand. Thank you for listening to me. I have nothing else to say. No words of wisdom. Besides, I appreciate you, and I send you all my love. I think I've been a mess lately, and I'm pretty sure you have all noticed. I'm trying to hang in there. I'm trying to laugh.
Some news out of Florida that really doesn't bode well for Ron DeSantis or Republicans writ.
I'll be honest, I don't have very many white friends because a lot of white people don't understand that being friends with black people is not just like being friends with a white person. There's so much that goes into being friends with a black person because you have to do all this extra work, which a lot of you are not ready for, to be a safe haven for us, to be an accomplice to us. I had a white friend that I went to Walmart with at one point, and he thought it would be funny to steal something. Unbeknownst to us, and unbeknownst to me, and unbeknownst to him, he tried to jack something from the store. I had no clue. And there was a regularly dressed security person following us the whole time. Had no fucking clue. But they were following us because of me. And he was goofy enough to try and steal something. They stopped us at the front of the store, and I almost got arrested because of his goofy mayo ass. Because he thought it would be funny. And they like almost strip searched me thinking that I had jacked something too. When you are friends with black people, you have to think about their safety at all times. Is doing this activity going to put my black friend at risk? Because security coming up to a male person in a store is just going to be some normal interaction. Us getting security or police called on us could be the very last interaction with law enforcement we could have on this earth, simply because of the color of our skin. So, no, I don't have very many white friends because I don't trust y'all. Y'all have given me zero reason to trust y'all. Y'all think things are jokes that are not jokes. You'll think things that are pranks that are not pranks. White men in particular think going into black neighborhoods and messing with black people is funny. Throwing up gang signs or fake gang signs is funny. Y'all think we are playthings, and you show that in the way that you're friends with black people too. You think they're your playthings. I don't want any part in that. So I'll stick